So, 2020 is over, which means there's a new Best of the Year list for, of course, 2020. Now, things you should know going into this. Typically, this isn't a top 10 list. This year it happens to be, but that's because there was only 10 movies that I liked that I would highly, highly recommend, which is one of my rules for my lists. I usually review or give a quick synopsis of the movies I gave an 8, a 9, or a 10 to, and this year that only happened to be 10. Of course, there's a lot of movies that got pushed back, that got delayed, yada yada, so a lot of the 2020 movies will probably be on my 2021 list, so look for them there, but these are the movies of 2020 that I would highly, highly recommend. First movie on this list is Mank, which is a movie that's going to be for a very specific audience, and even I barely am in this audience. That audience is big fans of the history of Citizen Kane and big fans of director David Fincher. And if you're not in one or both of those camps, I'll pretty much guarantee you're not going to enjoy this. But on a filmmaking level alone, this is the most well-made movie of the year, and it isn't close. The movie is simply gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful to look at. It's shot very well. The editing is precision and wonderful. The performances are amazing. Gary Oldman absolutely murders this role. And the dialogue is so sharp and so snappy that even when there doesn't feel like much going on, the dialogue is so good that you're still absorbed in it. At least I was. But again, this is a movie that is going to be for such a specific audience that I just not sure who is going to enjoy this. Even I, at times, was starting to check out in this, and that's the reason why it's so low on this list. There are many points in this that feel like it is self-indulgent in the history of Citizen Kane, and since I haven't seen that film, I just didn't know what was going on. But if you can look past this, there is a wealth of things to appreciate about this. Not only is it so well made and so well performed, but the story is interesting. The characters are interesting. There is plenty to like about this, and I would definitely recommend watching it.
I guess I shouldn't have said that thing about the cabinet in front of Tugwell, but since when does anybody care what I have to say? Those things just pop out of my mouth, and the moment they do, I feel like...
Like you got caught. Jambes en l'air.
No. Well, do you always just say whatever you think?
So The Assistant is a movie that is not going to be for everyone. I'm going to say that straight off the bat. This is a movie that, if you're not interested in slice of life movies that are incredibly slow, then you won't like this, to be frank. It is a movie about an assistant to a scummy Hollywood executive, and what you see is an hour and a half in her day. You see her wake up, go to work, turn the lights on, make coffee, do all the things an assistant would do in painfully excruciating detail, which highlights the mundane quality of life that she is living. I mean, she's obviously an assistant to a powerful person. She is doing a lot in her day. She's spending literally all day of her day at work. So it's not mundane in the normal sense, but it is showing that this is an average day for her. And on an average day, you can still have abuse. And that's essentially what the movie's about. It's about abuse, it's about the Hollywood system, and all of what that entails. And it is absolutely wonderful. It looks great, it's shot very well, the central performance is amazing. She absolutely nails this, and there is a fair number of scenes that are absolutely disturbing without really doing a whole lot. It's just a great watch that is too close to home.
Hey, there's a girl waiting at reception. She says that she's supposed to start here today. Working here with us? Where's she from?
Where's she from? Idaho.
Idaho? Is that the one you met in Sun Valley? Oh, her. She's been here before. A few times. Send her in.
The Climb is a low-budget movie from a writer-director pair who also star in the movie, and it's a movie about their characters over a long period of time. They grow up, they go through changes in their life, changes in scenery, changes in partners, and you just get to watch that happen. It's an incredibly, I'm winded. Simple premise, but an incredibly effective one at that. The character work is great. I love these little motifs and vignettes that you get to see throughout their lives, and it's also really well shot. There's incredibly impressive one-takes, throughout this whole movie. And there's one that really blew me away when the camera's revolving around this house and showing little vignettes of the scene through windows of the house. It goes on so long and it's so impressive. And the performances are great as well. And the dialogue. I mean, it just nails almost everything it's going for. I really, really enjoyed it. It's entertaining, it's funny, has dark humor, great character work, great arcs, and a really satisfying conclusion. So, yeah, that's The Climb.
When did you sleep together?
I don't know the exact dates. I didn't...
Dates?
Dude, slow down. You should pace yourself.
How long?
Like a quarter mile.
No, how long has this been going on? When did it start?
When she moved to New York.
3 years ago.
All right, so now that I made this kind of like a mugshot, let's talk about Bad Education, a movie starring Hugh Jackman and Allison Janney, which is about these two people extorting a ton of money from a public or private, I think, school. It's a very interesting real-life story about two people that took millions of dollars from the school they worked at to fund their own private things, like buying their kids Xboxes or paying for the Botox to make their skin look better. It's an incredibly interesting story on its own, but it also elevates itself above a normal based on true events story, which I typically don't really connect with. These type of stories are usually just better safe than sorry, sticking to their Wikipedia page, because most of the time you can get the information that the movie supplies from there in way less than half the time. But there are things about this that elevate this above just being a basic based on true event story, like the filmmaking, which is amazing in this. There's really inspired transitions and editing and camera work, and the performances are amazing. I think Hugh Jackman deserves some recognition for Best Leading Actor in this, as well as Allison Janney, and the story takes some legitimately interesting twists and turns that I did not expect. So check it out if you haven't. It's actually a really solid movie.
Your job is driving. You're Dale Earnhardt, and here's this cinder block, and all the other cars are soaring past you, and you've gone from first to last place, and you keep thinking to yourself, what the hell do I have to do to get this thing off my back? Well, I'll tell you, Chad, it's real simple. You just put your foot on the gas real hard, and you accelerate so fast that rope snaps in two, the cinder block explodes, and just say it with me, Chad. Accelerate, accelerate, accelerate.
Accelerate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What is your problem, huh?
So Wolfwalkers is an animated movie from the studio that brought you movies like Song of the Sea and Secret of the Kelps, I think it's called. These gorgeous animated movies that all have this hand-drawn look to them. And Wolfwalkers is their new one, and I think it's their best. Wolfwalkers is a gorgeous movie with a very compelling story, interesting characters, and it's about a person that turns into a wolf at night. A lot of movies about people turning into wolves on this list, but that's okay, because this movie works not only in and of itself, but it is a movie with mass appeal, which is one of the most shocking things about it landing on this list for me. I typically avoid movies with mass appeal. I don't like them all that much because they're broad, they're a little bland, they're a little sanitized, but this one doesn't hold anything back and still has that mass appeal, which is great. I love the voice cast in this. Sean Bean is great. There's a relationship between him and his daughter. That's the heart of the movie, and you get this look at their lives that's really interesting. It's about the clearing of the forests, the colonization of the wildlands, and the pushback from nature. It feels a lot like Princess Mononoke in that regard, and it's not as good as Princess Mononoke, but it has a lot that is going for it. Mainly the gorgeous animation and the soundtrack and the voice cast and the compelling story, so check it out.
You can come out now. We can smell you. Yeah, you stink. I knew you were here. Come out here, hidey ho. Let's see you. Don't kill me. Ha! I do what I like. Come here.
So The Wolf of Snow Hollow is the latest project from actor, writer, director Jim Cummings, who did this and Thunder Road a few years back. And he has proved now with both of these features that he's not only a up-and-coming writer, director, actor, he's just here. He's great at everything, it seems like. He is a great writer, a great director, and a great performer. And Wolf of Snow Hollow just cements that for me. I absolutely loved this movie. Now, do I think Thunder Road is a slightly better movie? Yes, but with a movie like this, with more things that it's handling, it is still impressive that it is this good. Because at the surface, it is a werewolf movie. And when you think werewolf movie, you think two things. Either you turn it into a farce, or you take it way too serious. And this movie does neither, and yet it does both. And that is the most interesting aspect of the movie, the tone. It's this incredibly lighthearted, but also very dark and kind of depressing movie that completely works. It has a lot of lighthearted comedy, but it feels like the comedy is coming from the characters, which makes me feel like it works. Because it is a dark movie. You have a lot of death going on. There is alcoholism being played with. That's an allegory with the werewolf, and Jim Cummings is an alcoholic. And you have his dad who is on his deathbed, essentially. So there's dark things at play in this, and yet you have incredibly goofy, lighthearted, almost slapstick comedy in this, and somehow it works. And that is the best thing I can say for this. When a movie can achieve that, pretty much everything else is going to work for me. And everything else does work. The direction is really sharp, the writing is really sharp, and the characters are incredibly interesting. So this movie has just about everything. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
I'm gonna have a hard time getting my generation off the stage. Willie Nelson's still doing concerts.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Dad, Willie Nelson is a guitar player, and he's not doing a lot of heavy police work.
This is scary. It's new. I never saw a body like that.
It's a murder. It's nothing new. Treat it like a murder.
You get the team together, all right? You get all the guys together, you handle them, I'll handle everything else. Oh my God. What is this? 11 new emails on this thing this morning. Jesus Christ, this is worse than my birthday.
So Baccarat is a Western. To put it simply, it's a Western about a small village in South America called Baccarat and the people that live in it. It's a super simple movie. It's literally just about this small village and the people that live there and their lives and them resisting modern society. That's basically all it is, and yet it is so much more. It's a movie about the corruption of politics, it's a movie about the dynamics of a small village, and it's an action movie and a Western. It's doing so much. It has a killer score with a song from John Carpenter, which is amazing, and it's a really ultra-violent, hyper-entertaining action movie near the end. The switch near the midpoint from a Twin Peaks style, sort of surrealist character piece with all of these people in this small village trying to figure out a mystery, turning into a action movie was something I never saw coming, and it was awesome. Good Man is the only documentary on this list, and I think the most deserving. I absolutely loved this movie, and it's just about a stupid internet frog meme, Pepe. It's about the creator of Pepe and the journey he takes with Pepe as he goes from a stoner bro-inspired cartoon into a icon of hate speech, which is still registered on the hate speech database, which is crazy, and into a symbol of hope and peace for these protests in Hong Kong, which I don't remember if it's Hong Kong. I think it's Hong Kong. I could be wrong about that. But regardless, this is the only movie of the year that I had tears coming out of my face during. It was an incredibly powerful experience, and it's just about an internet meme. The scope of it is super impressive. It's really well made, and they got in and got as much information as possible about this subject, which was truly something impressive. There's so much in this that I learned that I had no idea was a thing, and I would highly, highly recommend it.
Look is an extension of the eye. Electric circuitry is an extension of the central nervous system. The extension of any one sense displaces the other senses and alters the way we think, the way we see the world. When these changes are made, men change.
A meme is an idea that spreads from mind to mind.
Next movie up is a movie I've only seen once, which is sort of a rarity for this list. I tend to like to watch movies more than once, but it's a movie that was kind of a lot, and that is Sorry We Missed You. I absolutely loved this movie, but it is an emotionally devastating film that is very difficult to watch more than one time in a few months time span. It's an incredibly grounded movie with great character work, with great realism to it that gives it this feeling like you know these people, and that is what makes this kind of a devastating movie to watch, because it is about a family that's struggling, basically. They're struggling to pay bills, they're struggling to keep their family afloat, they're struggling to keep their son and daughter together and united as a family unit. They're just struggling, and the parents are working long shifts, long days for horrible companies. It's just a brutal movie, but everything about it works. The script is great, the characters are great, the cinematography is great. It's wonderful, but you do have that little what's the word for it? The one little catch, I guess, the catch of it being just brutal. But that's what makes it great, is how realistic it feels and how devastating it is. So, love it. Check it out.
How have you afforded it all, then?
All chipped in.
Oh, come on, just tell the truth.
I am.
Seb, tell the truth.
But if I tell the truth, Dad's one of our bonkers.
Just tell the truth.
I sold my winter jacket.
The Gore-Tex jacket, Seb, for fuck's sake, do you know how much it cost?
That cost me a fortune. I can't get another one. What are you doing?
Have you been on the train tracks and the roofs? Eh? Spraying that shite everywhere?
Of course it's shit. And of course it's everywhere, it's advertising.
I'm Thinking of Ending Things is my favorite movie of the year. This is a movie I saw not too long ago, and I haven't stopped watching and thinking about. Now, I may have watched The Wolf of Snow Hollow more than this, but this movie is right up my alley. Not just because it's very strange, but because there is an artistry to the strangeness, and that's what I want to see out of a movie. I want to see a movie that is going to challenge you, that's going to make you think about it, And this movie certainly does that, with some incredibly weird and surreal imagery, with these great performances, with these weird monologues and straight-to-the-camera delivery. This just utter strangeness to this really drew me in. And not only that, but it's just a really solid movie that I think everyone can relate to. It's really well made, it's really well performed, and it has a message that is kind of universal. I mean, there's so much that you can get out of it in terms of who is the narrator of the story, who's taking you through the story, but there's also messages of relationships in this that I think are just universal to everyone. So this is a movie that I would highly, highly recommend you check out because it just does everything right. It's captivating, it's funny, it's dark, it's sensitive, and I loved it.
The lie of it all?
What is the lie of it all?
I don't know. That it's going to get better, that it's never too late, that God has a plan for you, that age is just a number, that it's always darkest before the dawn, that every cloud has a silver lining, that there's someone for everyone.
Platitudes all.
Well, that concludes this Best of 2020 list. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some recommendations to check out for the remainder of this year while we wait with bated breath for the 2021 movies that were supposed to be 2020 movies. But that's it. I will see you in the next video. Good night.